Hopefully this whole thing doesn't crash my computer, being that I'm streaming to GoDaddy and or to GoToMeeting and to YouTube as well. All right, so Todd, is that quorum?
That is quorum. And then just a quick thing. Has Steve from Famous, Brian from Groupon, Ashley Williams, Ahmad, or Denise joined?
Yeah, that was Denise.
Okay. Hey, Denise.
Ashley.
I saw Brian walking around earlier, but not lately.
Oh, okay. Also, Ashley is very sick today, actually, so I don't think that she'll make it. Okay. All right. Well, with that, let's get started.
You guys are all in Austin at the thing?
Somewhat, yeah.
All right. So let's get. Do you want to call the meeting to order?
Sure.
Motion to
All right. There we go. We got two of them.
Yes,
Great.
I'm calling a meeting to order. Thank you, Todd.
All right. Okay. Welcome everybody. This is our first live stream to YouTube board meeting. So hopefully that works out and my computer doesn't crash. Antitrust compliance notice, just to refresh everybody on that. Nothing new. Member directory, nothing new to report here as well. We still have all the same members as we did last month. All right, let's get right into it. We had an awesome media month in March. It was actually our best month yet. So we had more coverage about Node and Enterprise, a record IoT actually, and IoT, Node and IoT as much as Node and Enterprise, which is amazing. I think a lot of our messaging is really turning around there from more hobbyist stuff to more serious stuff. You will notice though that Java also had a really good month. So it's not, we still have work to do, but it's going really, really well. Also, I think that this month, April, once we get numbers, will be incredibly well as good as well. We had the survey go out and a lot of really good press around that. We've got V6 coming out, so it's gonna be really good. Any questions or comments about media coverage? Okay, moving on. So just a couple links for you guys on the survey impact. We've had a couple really, really good articles. We also showed up in an article that we didn't even really solicit, so the messaging is definitely working. That's great. We had a really good call with analysts at Red Monk about it. We got really good feedback from them. The survey's really been helping with the Node Everywhere messaging and this kind of new full stack messaging that we've been working on. And yeah, it's going really, really well. So any questions or comments here before?
So what did, so I guess my question is, so what did James or Steven from Red Monk suggest? Anything that we all should know about?
Well, so we had a call with them before we did the big media blitz, which was really good because they pointed out a few things that they found particularly interesting that we ended up highlighting a bit more, right? So one of the things that they called out as being a little bit more indicative than we even thought was the disparity in average number of years of experience among IoT developers. Where most of the people doing IoT in Node that we found in the survey were actually older and more experienced than from like enterprise, say. And that kind of showed to them that we're not just getting a bunch of random hobbyists. It's actually like people that do really serious IoT work are starting to come to Node now. And it was even higher than they would have expected. So that really reinforced some of our messaging, and we highlighted that a little bit more than we would have before. So that in particular was really good.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. Yeah. So just some quick Q1 metrics. So our web traffic is up by 25%, and our release downloads grew by 26%, which is actually a little bit higher than 100% year over year, which was what we would expect. But also, I think that January is a really good month, and December isn't. So I think at the end of the year, we're going to see that we had another year of 100% year over year growth. There's no reason to think that our growth is down at all. Registry is starting to flatline a little bit in terms of new packages, but I think once you hit 250,000 packages, there's going to be a little bit of a saturation point. So. Any question about our growth metrics for the Q1? Okay, great, moving along. Okay, TSC update. Do we have Rod on? Yeah, Rod, do you want to take this on?
We do.
All right, go for it.
So, yeah, V6 is going to be released. Scheduled for tomorrow. Everything's going well. It's turning out to be a really boring release. So you'll see from the items here that it's, we're struggling to find any parallel items to say about other than V8. So the V8 upgrade takes us to close to 100% EXE speed capacity for this mission, but it's around 93% full EXE support. So huge headline item for people out there that are looking for those features. Aside from that, there's little things like required performance has sped up a lot. The buffer security improvements are in beta. They were in on Dev 5 as well. And the biggest thing I think for the ecosystem is that the C++ API of Node and V8 is not breaking between this and the previous libraries. And this is the first time this has happened, I think, ever, where that means that the vast majority of native add-ons for Node only have to be recompiled. They don't have to be upgraded, rewritten, anything. We've had a lot of drama with this in the past, but our relationship with the V8 team and Google in particular is paying off. They've kept stability. We've done bits on our end with those and add-on layer that helps with compatibility. So this is huge news. Compared to the version 4 upgrade process, this is just smooth sailing. People just have to recompile everything. So this is a great update, mainly because of the leak. I think for all of us as a business, I'm happy to go with it.
That is exceptional. That's wonderful. You guys deserve a big hand, honestly, for working this out and getting close to the line. That's amazing.
Lots to be excited about in this process. So I think Foundation, everything we're doing together is really taking effect and is probably bearing fruit.
This is like really awesome. Can I just say from a module author perspective, to not have to change modules at all, this is like really great. I mean, to not have to change our modules at all, just to have them work without any changes in V6 is super awesome. So good job.
It's great. It's great progress. I'm excited. It's one of the things I'm most excited about. It's also one of the things that I think will be noticed the least, but that's a really good thing.
Yep, I was talking to press today, and it's just, a lot of messaging about how we're focused on performance and stability and security more than anything, and that's really what people want. The number of, test fixes and improvements that went in over the last 3 months is incredible. Any final comments for Rod before we move along? Great. Okay. Moving along. Commits to core branches. As you can see, we're just a little bit down from a record high in February. But this is, coming into a major release, we should expect to see a little bit of a decline in, active new changes coming in and a bit of an increase in the branches, which is what we see there. So it's all looking very good. So an events update. We just did Node Live Paris, which in my opinion was just the best talks that we've had at any live event yet. They were really, really phenomenal. In particular, IBM talked about the benchmarking working group, I think for the first time ever. Nobody's really talked about our benchmarking efforts, and it was really, really great. So we're going to be promoting these videos this week and going to get a lot out of them. In general, I think one of the things that the live events have allowed us to do is really think and iterate on all of the event-related stuff that we do. So when we come into interactive closer to the end of the year, we're just going to have a significantly better event because we've been able to iterate over and over again. Like a lot of what went into making this content so good and selecting the talks is already making its way into how we do interactive talks and the way that we do promotion and everything. So yeah, that was great. A quick interactive update, the promotion plan is getting finalized. We have formalized a list of tracks, which will go up on the website and get announced later this week. And we will also be including a Code and Learn event, a Collaborator Summit, and a Node Together alongside both of those events. So not only will these be, the big industry event, but we also want to try to pull together as many people that really work on Node.js core as possible, get them all in rooms together, really make these kind of tent poles for Node core, and then also, use some of that momentum to teach new people core and get some of that stuff going along. So, any questions about the events before I move along?
Yes, Michael.
Yep.
So I'm really impressed by the work that you and the team have been doing on the core messaging stuff that you've been presenting in particular.
Mm-hmm.
The video is coming out for Node Live this week.
Mm-hmm.
Will that contain, like I presume you had a talk there, and should that be a talk that we use? Like I'd like to promote that talk, or should we use the one from the Lab Summit, or what's the canonical version of that talk that we might present? Because I think that's a really good talk.
Yeah, so it would definitely be the one that just went up from the Paris event. It's actually up now. We just haven't quite, we stagger the promotion, but if you look on the YouTube channel, it's actually up now. So that would be the Node Everywhere talk that we just did. In terms of what is the canonical one, it should probably be whatever most recent one that we put up, because I'm going to be giving this talk multiple times, and I'm sure it'll just get better each time. So, but for right now, it would definitely be the one from Paris.
And is there a blog or something that's going with this that we could also tweet about, or the video?
So we haven't been doing a blog about every individual event just because we don't want to kind of wear people out. But honestly, the content here was so good that we may want to just do a wrap-up blog post at the end of the week. I'll get with Zibby about that. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something you'd put out on Medium, or?
Yeah, it would definitely go onto Medium. Yeah, our Medium followership is way up actually. So Medium is working out really well for us.
That's why I asked.
Yeah. And also, YouTube visits are way up as well. So both of those channels are doing incredibly well. And one thing we're talking about now is building more channels like this. So we're looking at, we have to do some promotions in China. So, what do we do there, and how do we create, better outreach in those areas? And then additionally, we really want to build like a really good kind of regular newsletter. So we're looking at building that out and having a better email channel as well.
I think what we've learned from other organizations as they move into China is having local teams who are really helping to promote and doing the translation work and doing the meetups just becomes super important. And they have their equivalents of the things that you find here, like their equivalent of YouTube and things that we can get some level of attention through as well.
Yep.
We ought to talk about that. Maybe we can help with some of the folks on that are part of the board that also have resources over there to maybe get some help there.
That would be especially useful for China. So that China has this very, very good forum called CNode, where the whole Chinese community kind of congregates. And because of that, I think that they're so active on there that there's not a huge social presence for any of the local groups. So we've been trying to reach out to them to see if they do, but we haven't really gotten a good response on that yet, just because everybody's so active in that forum. So I'm sure that IBM has resources in China for social media that we can work with. Yeah,
we would.
Yeah.
Certainly, yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure that.
I know Intel does as well too.
Right.
Maybe Ahmad and myself, if you reach out to us, we can try to help.
Okay, that's great. I'll pass that on to the marketing folks as well. I'm sure they'll be really into that.
Michael, I'm interested that Code and Learn is making a comeback here. Is that a revamped format?
So it's not really a revamped format. I think that the main thing is that people really want to learn about how to work on core, and it's just so hard to get people together that know how to work on core that can work in that kind of a format for a whole day. So one of the reasons why we haven't done one between sort of the last round of them last September and now is just being able to get those resources into a place. So with Node Interactive coming up, we want to get as many core developers there as possible. And, we're going to bring them in for the Collaborator Summit. We're going to bring them in as speakers. And so we should really do another Code and Learn along with that and follow up, since we're already bringing those resources into town anyway. Great. All right. Let's move along. Budget. Okay, so as many of you know, our budget was June to June, which is kind of annoying and a little bit problematic. So the whole budget is sort of set to reset in June. What me and Todd are going to work on is we're going to reforecast in June, figure out what everything looks like, and then just do a June to December budget so that coming into 2016 we can actually have proper year-on-year budgets. So yeah, anything new or big changes that people want to see in the budget, this would be a good time to let me know about that. And we can work it into either the June to December or the 2016 budget.
Todd, have you had a conversation with Michael regarding the Finance Committee meeting that we had about a couple weeks ago?
I think Michael was in that.
Yeah, I was there.
Right after the in-person meeting, so I wasn't sure if there were some notes there that got shuffled. That might be a subject for a private meeting after this, though. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I should say that I'm not going to be able to join the private meeting, guys.
Okay. Okay. All right, moving along. That's the end of the deck. Does anybody have anything else that they'd like in the public meeting before we adjourn for the executive session?
Michael, you want to ask for questions from the public attendees? Is there a way for them to send them?
So there was going to be, but Ashley was going to handle that, and then she got terribly sick. So we actually barely got the stream up. So we unfortunately can't do that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll do it next time.
Yep. And we'll have more time to promote and get it out there as well. So. Oh, and by the way, I'm sure that everybody will be very happy. All of the previous public board minutes are now up on the website, so that is taken care of.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. Well.
Link you could do. Sorry, I suppose we can find it. If you got a link,
Yeah, sure. I'll send it to you. Yeah, or I'll just send.
That guy that was asking for them, help you get them up?
Yes. So that ended up being the solution. So William Kepke, who's been really engaged in the Node project lately in terms of documenting how all the process works, he's amazing. I sent them to him, and he actually got them up. So that was a great contribution from him today.
Oh, speaking of William Kepke, so he runs a site called Node.green.
Yep. Node.green.
Yeah, so that's been updated for the Node 6 release, I believe. If you're looking to promote with regards to ES6 purposes in Node 6, you could promote Node.green. It's a great site for people who would like more information about what Node is.
Yeah, that's been super useful in this release. In fact, we're kind of deprecating our old ES6 page on the website and just kind of forwarding to that. Okay, well, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All right.
I'm sorry, yes, motion to adjourn. I apologize. I had the news on.
Okay. All right, let's adjourn, and I'll see y'all back in the executive session.
Thank you.